I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person, that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 3-on-3 podcast, your favorite basketball podcast, because we are the number one basketball podcast in the entire universe. That's right, universe. And I'm your boy Hans Ludor, here with my fellas, my friends, my compadre, Evan. How you feeling, brother? How you doing today?
I'm going to hijack it off the top. I'm going to tell you how I'm feeling today. I'm tired of holiday dinners, parties, and luncheons.
And
Let
potlucks.
people that are trying to get healthy for the new year and have their beach body make it through this season without donuts, potlucks, etc. Other than that, I'm doing wonderful. Good to see you.
Love the rant. We're on one today, baby. We're on one. Yes, Lou. What it do, Lou? How you feeling, brother?
Hey, man, I can't beat that, man. My man got all the energy for this holiday season.
Yes,
But,
sir.
as always, let's get it cracking. Let's get it cracking.
Yes, happy to have you guys here. And as always, we have the Pod Mamba in the background, making sure we continue to be the number one basketball podcast in the universe. And you know it. Let's jump right into it, fellas. We're just going to jump, belly flop into it. The trade season. Now, I know last episode we threw out some trade rumors, i.e. Jimmy Butler primarily, but there's more to come. I would say the one of highest note would be Dennis Schroeder from the Brooklyn Nets, in the process of maybe finalizing a deal that would send him over to the Golden State Warriors. And we know how much Christian loves the Golden State Warriors, so he's ecstatic about that. Right. Okay. Got it. So we have that happening as well.
Jumping for joy at the news. We see you,
I'm
Christian. It's
telling
all
you,
good.
man, he is ecstatic over there. I'm telling you, the energy is just great here. And we also have some couple other rumors as well, too. My dear brother Lou, his Bulls are rumored to be shopping around, maybe flirting with the idea of stepping away from Levine. So we'll get into that as well. And then we have some beef happening too. Listen, man, Shams just got his new job and he got some haters out there, man. So he out here having to defend himself. Listen, it's crazy, but let's just start with the Dennis Schroeder trade. We'll start with you, Lou. Your thoughts on it. So he's supposed to be going to the Golden State Warriors, and the Golden State Warriors are sending over Melton and second round trade picks. I'm sorry, if I'm not mistaken. Does this move the needle for the Golden State Warriors? Because we know that the Nets are not playing for a championship. So what are you seeing this do for the Golden State Warriors?
So here's the thing about that, right? Now, do I think it necessarily moves the needle? I don't know how much, but what it does give them is gives them a solid point guard that can create on their own, and also take a little bit of the offensive pressure, offensive onus off of Steph. And, you know what I mean, realistically is an automatic upgrade, right, from their current starting point guard. Why? Because it gives him, again, like I said, it gives Steph the ability to really not have to have so much pressure offensively on him. We have somebody else who can create their own shot, get to the cup, and also shoot from the perimeter. So does it help? Does it help? Look at that. Okay, see on my brain. Does it help the Warriors? Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does help them in terms of giving them some beefed up veteran presence, you know, with what they've lost with this new system that Curry has put in place. So, yeah, definitely gives them a jolt. But does it give them an opportunity to really compete for a championship? I think that's a little bit of a hopeful and wishing and grabbing at some straws.
Got you. Ev, So, in reaction to this trade, Draymond Green, who has his own podcast, it's not the number one basketball podcast in the universe, though, but it's a podcast. It's a basketball podcast. Nonetheless, he's quoted as saying, I don't think he was necessarily brought here to fit. We play a certain style of basketball he does not really play. We need someone who can do things he does. I'm looking forward to us adjusting to him. Now, I don't know about you, Ev. That sounds like hateration. And I'm just throwing a theory out there. It sounds like hateration. The last game, Draymond came off the bench, and we all know that Steph isn't your traditional point guard. Draymond actually does more of the distribution of the ball in that motion offense. Is this Draymond saying, hey, don't come take my spot? I'm the point guard. Or is there really concern that Dennis doesn't fit with the now you got me saying OKC Lou with the Golden State system?
So I read it as acknowledgement that their system as they've ran it needs to change to an extent. And so what I mean from that, when I first heard about the trade, I thought it was good for Golden State from the standpoint that Steph is the only creator on the team, right? The only one that can create his own offense. And right now, at the age he's getting up to and the usage that he's had, him both being the lead ball handler and doing all the movement that he does to create offense is taking a toll on him. I think it's in part why he's only averaging 23 a game. It's his lowest output in like 10 years. And we see him struggling. We saw him struggle at the end of the NBA Cup game against Houston. A lot was made about the call at the end, but a lot of it was
call.
Yeah, but I mean the game didn't come down to just that call, right? They struggled to.
I was about to say.
I would argue
they struggled to make shots the last 4 minutes of the game. That could have put the game
Agreed.
away.
So they didn't put the game away. The refs gave the game back to Houston.
They lost, but I mean, and they lost 8 of their last 10. So I mean, you know,
you're not wrong there.
With Clay being gone, right, and with nobody consistently picking up what prime Clay was or close to what prime Clay was, they do need a shift in how they run. So I think this frees Steph off the ball some, allows them to have some of that same motion without having to both initiate the offense and then go into all that motion. And it just gives them an added wrinkle that they didn't have, somebody that can get to the hole. Schroeder's having a great season. We know German Schroeder is a completely different player, and he's brought some of that success to the regular season. So I think this would be good. And Pod Mama's been arguing now for the year and a half we've been doing this show that Steph's not a point guard. So give Steph some time to actually not be a point guard. Go be the 2 and receive the ball sometimes versus always having to create.
So I think this move, when I saw it, was actually good. I think Schroeder's going to be what they wanted Chris Paul to be, essentially, to take the load, help distribute, really manage the offense. At the end of the day, Steph is not as young as he used to be. People are hip to his game. They're throwing multiple looks at him. He's not as potent as he once was. So that's just what it is. Now, granted, he did show out in the Olympics, but he also had 4 other superstars with him on that floor. So he's not going to lead a team like he once was. I'm interested to see how this works. My issue or concern is Draymond. He's headstrong. Schroeder's headstrong. I just hope we don't see a whole nother Jordan Poole situation, just happen. I really don't want Draymond to torpedo this trade just because he wants to continue to be a focal point. I think it would not only take a burden off of Steph Curry, it'd take a burden off of Draymond. He can focus on anchoring the defense, right? He doesn't have to distribute. He doesn't have to worry about scoring as much. He can really get Golden State back to the prominent defensive team they were when they were in their heyday. So why not do that?
I don't hear nothing about Draymond. Draymond, you old and tired. Shooter is going to come in and do what he's supposed to do. And if you're the one that's going to try to torpedo this at your big age, that's really you're really not that important to the team anymore. Maybe from a culture perspective, but they're in the process of phasing that out anyway. They have to. They're growing, especially with this new cast of guys. So unlike the Jordan Poole situation, if Draymond was an issue or a problem, I would for sure would not be surprised if they shipped him out. In the state of rebuilding, holding on to what they have a little bit left of, but moving in the direction of rebuilding. So,
and to Lou's point, and to what he stated the first time, this move on itself doesn't take Golden State from where they are to now they're contending. Not at all. But what it could possibly do is if they're able to make another move. So they still have players left. They didn't send out anybody but an injured Anthony Melton. So they still have players left if they want to try to make another move for a strong player to put them in position for one last run. Maybe a rumored Jimmy Butler like we talked about last week. Now you've put some dominoes in place to potentially do something over the next year or two. But I think this is a good first move if you're trying to get to that next move.
Yeah. No, I see that. I definitely agree with you. It's going to take more, especially in the competitive West that we are in right now. It's going to take a lot more than just Dennis to really get them over the top. But we shall see. We shall see. It's not over yet. We're still here in the thick of things. All-Star is coming, but the trade deadline is still some time. So I'm pretty sure we'll see some jockeying and some more. And at least while we're recording, I don't think the trade has been finalized yet, right? So
ink has not yet dried.
Yeah, I think they're holding for the rumors that they're holding on for the possibility that they could package this for a bigger trade. So it may end up staying as is unless they could work out an even bigger deal here in the next 48 hours or so.
well, speaking of rumors, we know that the great Woj is no longer in this department. He's left to go,
He's retired as BlackBerry.
yeah, oh wow.
Yes, we're giving big ups to Woj. Glad that you're on to greener pastures, brother.
And get heal up and go Bonnies of St.
Yes, yeah, at St. Bonaventure. Yeah, do your thing,
Yes,
Woj, at your
sir.
alma mater. But Shams is taking over, and he's been dropping nuggets. But this past week, though, it's been a little drama, Ev. And I know you're cued in on the situation, man. Shams got some haters out here, bro.
Listen, man, so much goodness here. We got old school versus new school. We got loyalty tests. So, Shams, we talked last week about the Jimmy Butler news that Shams broke where there's rumors that Jimmy's looking to be traded to either Golden State, the Dallas Mavericks, or the Houston Rockets. Shams follows up the next day with adding the Phoenix Suns to the list of possible preferred trade destinations for Jimmy Butler. Well, let's just say that next update was the one that set Jimmy Butler's agent, Bernie Lee, off. So I'll try not to read the whole thing, but Bernie Lee is a middle-aged man that knows how to use X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. But he said, I gave you being Shams a pass yesterday because I was busy. But if you don't stop putting my name on your complete and utter made-up BS, this is a family show. Then he goes on. Then he goes on.
PG version.
Yeah. I'm giving you the clean version. Then he goes on to say that everything that Shams has tweeted out is 100% fabricated. He goes on to say, just come out and say, listen, ChatGPT is my source, and it went wonky on me. New way of saying I got hacked. So Bernie Lee, Jimmy Butler's agent, he had time to respond. He said he's a middle-aged man that usually doesn't respond, but he felt entitled to do so. So what you got here is you got an agent who calling Shams a liar, maybe protecting his player,
Protecting his
or
interests.
protecting his interests, or doesn't like the way Shams is doing business with putting stories out. I don't know. What do y'all think when you hear an agent coming directly at Shams like that? Who, by the way, the next day stood on what he said on a first take with Stephen A. and said he stands 1,000% behind his reporting. What'd you think,
Well,
Lou?
I'm about to say, like, I don't know, man. Saying it on a show with Stephen A., somebody who notoriously likes to talk about their sources in the sassiest way possible. I don't know if that necessarily gives Shams credibility. But what I do know is agents are going to protect their interests, right? If any story that you putting out may be able to potentially hurt their players' bag, which in turn hurts their bag, especially if some conversations are supposed to be quiet. I wouldn't be surprised, if there's some validity to what he's saying, or like you're saying, I just don't like that you putting out certain stuff that don't need to be put out there yet, regardless of how true or untrue they may be. But definitely know it means something. It struck a nerve for some reason. So I guess there's going to be more to be seen here. Realistically, he's the biggest trade name out right now for this season. So definitely going to expect to see some more stories swirling around.
Listen, man, I don't know about y'all, but I am here for 2024, the year of the Mamba, the year of the beefs, the year of the calling people out. Cat Williams started us.
He opened that
Kendrick
portal.
is ending us. Listen, man, this is the year of anybody can get it. Okay. This is the year of I'm going to let you know. Okay. This is the year of I'm going to come see about you. So I am here for it. I'm here about it. Listen, man, because at the end of the day, the reality of the situation is, as much as Woj is lauded, he was flawed as well too. Right?
Mhm.
He was accused of being a gatekeeper, of closing doors, and not giving people opportunities like Shams and others that they needed to break news. Right? Now, I'm not gonna say that Jimmy Butler's agent handled it appropriately, but what I will say is I think there's truth on both sides. I think what probably happened was that Shams maybe sidestepped a etiquette or a one of those unspoken rules in that world that the OG agent felt that he should have adhered to, and he called him out on it. And I, for one, am okay with it. It brings drama. It brings, it brings the lure, the narrative.
Hey,
I'm good for a good narrative, man. I love
look,
a
man,
narrative,
the viewership of the NBA is down. They need all that they can get, all the
Hey,
salacious type of
we're here
stories
for it.
that they can
We're here for
they deserve
it,
a
man.
little love and hip hop in it. So hey, why not?
I think what you said, Hans, is exactly what's going on here. I think, especially now with Woj retiring, it's almost like Shams getting hazed, right? Woj has been the guy, and he's developed the decorum of relationships with all the teams and all the agents.
The decorum.
Shams has come up aggressively, right, and
Yeah.
effectively. But he's the young guy, the Gen Zer that the older guys, there's always that friction between. So this was one of Sham's big,
Getting slapped on the
I'm
wrist.
exactly. This was his slap on the wrist. His listen, this the way we do business around here, young buck. All
Right.
right, and
You
so
check in. You gotta check in. All right.
exactly.
Mhm.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, like Christian would tell us. Yeah, make sure you checking in.
Check
And
in,
so
man.
he just got chastised publicly for and we'll see how Shams takes it, because Shams either gonna take it behind the scenes like, okay, listen, if I'm going to be the guy, because there's one guy in every sport, right?
Yeah.
There's Adam Schefter in the NFL. There's Jeff Passan who's taking the torch, and he's the guy in MLB now, right? So
Way to go.
Shams is in the seat now. So this was his, all right, if you're going to be in the seat, there's certain rules you got to follow. And he must have broke one of them. And so he had to get chastised publicly for it. So, but nah, this story is 100% true, because you could tell by Jimmy Butler's hair each night.
Yeah, the colors.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that for 1 second, though. How's that gonna happen? What are they gonna do? Run 7 players on the floor? How does Phoenix? How is that gonna happen? Are they gonna get rid of
Jimmy
Beal?
Butler for Bradley Bill.
Are they gonna get rid of
I'm
Beal?
about
I
to say
mean,
that you got to get rid of
but he has
Bill.
a no
Want
trade
Bill?
clause.
He does, but it's South Beach.
That's true, and he said he was supposed to go there.
Yeah. And if you look at, I mean, so if you look at, like, if you go through the teams again, if you look at Jimmy Butler for Bradley Bill, Jimmy Butler is exactly what Phoenix needs, where Bradley Bill is overkill at that position for Phoenix. And Bill has
True.
looked a shell of himself since he got to Phoenix. Now, are there enough shots in Miami for both Bradley Bill and Tyler Hero? That
That
remains to be
part.
seen. But I mean, if they could take some offense away from Bam, that would be helpful for everybody because he's
And no drop
plateaued
step
in
bam.
development. So I
No
think
drop step bam.
it sounds like we just created the perfect trade. We're done here.
I don't know, man. We'll see. Because there's nothing I see coming out of Phoenix, man. The team is cooked.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
well,
Cooked.
if
Cooked,
if KD keeps getting hurt, you know,
Yeah, I'm saying KD's hurt right now, but Cook, man.
Exactly.
he
Cooked.
doesn't like, you know, Lou's history with Devin Booker is well chronicled.
It has nothing to do with my history. It's his history as a Phoenix Sun.
All
You
right.
know, he was maybe the third or fourth best player on an Olympic team. He made it to an NBA. All right, I'm not doing this with you. So take grab control,
Let-
Hans. Grab control.
Listen, man. All right, since we're on Lou. What's going on with the Bulls, man? It's rumored that they're shopping Levine, man. Are they blowing this up?
Holiday season.
Yeah, man. They shopping. They talking conversation of shopping our three big names, right? Well, arguably our three big names, especially
Who's
because
the
of
third?
the seeing this one.
I know it's
Ball,
Vooch. I know
Disrespect.
Ball too.
Disrespect.
Ball.
Really?
So
I didn't know they
Ball
were
looks.
shopping Ball.
Ball's been in conversation. So if I mean, it depends what we want to do, right? If we decide we're blowing it up, we're gonna blow it up for real, in a season where we should be tanking, and seeing what we could find. I mean, we find ourselves in purgatory, right? Hanging around that play-in zone, which is something we need to do that's different. So we got to figure it out. Levine is playing great this season, playing at 22 4-on-4. So he's looking good. His shot potential is good. I mean, one of the biggest names that's coming out right now in conversation for him is Denver, which would likely have somebody like Michael Porter Jr. in the mix of that type of trade, right? But
Denver's
with that,
looking for everybody, according
yeah,
to
I'm saying,
Sam
what is that?
Hammock. Like,
Hey, look. But I think one of the things they're looking for is getting their perimeter game back, and to getting somebody like Levine is somebody that gives you that. And they probably look at somebody that's been a little bit more consistent than Michael Porter Jr. So we'll see. But I anticipate if we're gonna go into this trade season with the thoughts of we're gonna get the most for what we can, and try to keep our restricted top 10 pick. We're gonna go and probably have some sort of fire sale, and hopefully we can take something from OKC's their leadership, their front office, and get ourselves a bag of tricks ready for us to be able to build for the next couple of years. So clearly, the front office doesn't see this team as being the team to get us over the funk, and then realistically, it's not. We're not going to be anything better than a mid-table team with what we have. I think we've maximized the potential. And, now it's time thoughts to move on, especially while it seems like we may be able to raise some. I mean, the stock of these guys, these names have seemed to be a little bit more raised.
Throw out a random question. Pop Mama dropped us the Denver rumors. You mentioned Michael Porter. Just curious. Zach LaVine for Jamal Murray. Who says no?
Not when you already have Kobe White.
So you said the Bulls say no.
Yeah.
What do you think,
Well,
Devin?
I mean, if we have Kobe White, why would we be looking for Jamal Murray, especially since he's been injured and it has looked like a shell of himself over these last 2 seasons? I'll take my chances with Kobe.
Hans, what you think?
You'd have to have some other pieces to go with Jamal Murray.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. On to the next one. All right, guys. It's time for our resident Laker segment. Like clockwork, as always, our favorite segment of the show. We're going to talk about these Lakers. I don't know why. I mean, at the end of the day, they're underperforming, as they always do. But seriously, though, what's going on with the Lakers? We have LeBron, who stepped away from the team for personal reasons. Some would say that's a foreshadowing of things because everything LeBron does is apparently cryptid, right? And then we have them struggling, which we talked about last week, right? They had a couple losing stretches as well, too. And now JJ is being brought up to the front and being criticized or critiqued, however you want to, call it, as a coach. Ev, I will start with you as someone who has toted himself and given himself the title of non-biased when it comes to Laker coverage on this show. What is your perspective on what's going on with the Los Angeles Lakers?
Well, we have a team that's currently 10th in the West as of this recording, with a net rating of -15. Their offensive versus their defensive rating, they give up more points than they allow regularly, than they score regularly. Their
Hey, just
team
the stats are the
statistically,
stats.
yeah, I mean, they're a team that statistically looks kind of like we expected them to be coming into this season. Now, I mean, they're half a game out of sixth place, so a good week could do them good, but they can't play defense and they don't shoot the ball well enough. And LeBron is starting to struggle. He took his week 2 sabbatical, as we've seen numerous times throughout his career, to go do whatever it is he needs to do to both get right and get his point across. So we'll see coming out of that. But the real question for me just ends up coming: what do we expect from this team, and thus what do we expect from JJ Redick as a coach? Is this success right now? Are they underperforming? Are they adequately performing? What's the benchmark when your second best player is 40 years old and your bench is inadequate and your guards can't guard? I don't know. So that's why they're fascinating to me, is because wherever they're at right now, I don't know whether they're above or below expectation or right where we expected them to be.
If Darvin Ham's exit season is the bar, where would you compare JJ's current season?
Well, this time last year they had a better record. They were hoisting the NBA Cup, the inaugural NBA Cup. So at this point last year, their success was priming them for great things going into the
Sidebar. Darvin Ham is doing that back-to-back seasons as a
Darvin Ham may be the most successful coach in NBA Cup history, between his head coach and assistant coach. If he gets a personal trophy for both, he has the most NBA Cup hardware in the history of the league. He has 2 NBA Cup banners. I mean, if we're talking Darvin Ham versus JJ Redick from a coaching standpoint, to this point, Darvin Ham's brought home, is that twice the hardware or infinitely more hardware than JJ has? So just based on that, if they look solely on that, that would be considered a failure. But we don't look solely on that. I was gonna stop, but I see.
You got two Garys. You got two Garys.
Listen, when you fire a championship winning coach, okay, for a coach that has never had any experience coaching anybody but a 5th grade basketball team in his life. It
He's a
tells you
great
the type
analyst
of
though on this
organization
podcast.
that it is. Listen, anybody can talk about sports, all right, including me. All right?
Brother, this guy stinks!
No, the person that comes up with the ticker at the bottom line stinks. You understand? I'm
I'm done. I'm done.
I'm done.
So here's my question. I don't think how the Lakers began this season is an aberration. I think it's I don't know what to call it. I really don't know. Like I really don't know what to call it. I refuse to believe that this is where they're gonna end. I think they're gonna make a push. I think they're gonna make a run in the season. What I think is going to overshadow that run is the fact that they're in a highly competitive Western Conference, more competitive than what it was last year. So I do think they're going to be, I think they're better than what they are right now. I think they're going to make another run. Ultimately, though, I think they're going to fall short because at the end of the day, you're going to have to depend on Connect, AR to give you more than what they should. You need them to overachieve in order for you to get to the promised land. Because like Evan said, they unfortunately don't have the bench help. They don't. So if you don't have that, you're going to need those guys and also D'Lo to overachieve on a consistent level in order for them
Both
to get
sides of
over
the
the
ball.
hump. So at the end of the day, if that's what you're banking on, your others to overachieve consistently, I don't think that's a formula for success, and I don't care who your coach is. So I think the solution is they need to start looking at these trade rumors and start to put their hat in the ring for some of these players out there. Maybe bring that old thing back like Kuz. Maybe look into,
But
go ahead,
well,
Lou.
also, what value do they have to give? Right?
They could put together their 2020 championship team right now with Caldwell Pope, Kuzma,
Hold on.
signed Dwight Howard.
Breaking news: D'Lo is a peacock, and Jay won't let him fly. Peacocks don't fly. What are we talking about?
Spread their wings.
Peacocks don't fly.
Not to tell the Pod Mama's business, but that Theraflu's kicking in right now. Okay?
Boy, that's that Cali bud, boy. Listen, but go ahead. My bad, Av.
That devil's lettuce.
Yes, it is.
Here it comes. We did it, guys.
I guess.
Blurred them out.
My bad. I thought you guys would have got the reference. It's a other guy's reference with Will Ferrell and
got it.
Yeah. Never mind.
Got it.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
My
Pop
bad.
culture. Sorry, we're old. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I'm not a fan of Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
I'm
he's hit
a
or
Jack
miss.
Black guy. I'm a Jack Black guy.
He's a hit or miss, man. Well, is it? I'm sorry, my bad, Ev. Go ahead. I apologize because we talk about.
Will Ferrell had a stretch of movies, mid 2010s, classic after classic after classic. So
By stretch, you mean two, right? You mean two?
No.
You mean two, Ev? You mean two?
Talladega Nights and
Old
Step Brothers.
School, Talladega Nights, Step Brothers. There's some other ones out there. Anchorman. Yeah, Will Ferrell's legit. Don't. I won't do that.
I was gonna mention Anchorman, but Lou beat me to it. So
Yeah.
there you go. But other guys, I mean, other guys, I feel is very underrated. But anyways.
Very good movie too. Let me say this while I had the Pop Mamba here. I did all I could. Okay, listen. First 2 weeks of the season, I said when the Lakers were 4-1, I give y'all praise. Y'all start going in the tank. Golden State, I gave them praise. They're 2-8 since then. I said the Knicks were going to beat the hell out of the Hawks last week. We lose. I've done everything I could do to turn your season around, Los Angeles Lakers. It's all on y'all now, okay? It's all on y'all.
The Lakers are a Trae Young and Franz Wagner buzzer beaters away from being the 5th spot. So would we even be talking about anything like this if they had just won those games?
That's a tough game to play right there because those things did not happen. So you can every team can name I mean, watch this. The Trailblazers are a Scoot Henderson draft pick away from being a playoff team.
See, why those are even apples to apples. This is your problem. I mean, you don't do apples to apples comparisons.
I knew this was coming.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, we're a Zion block away from.
Hold on. All right, so I'll toss it out since you bring it up.
I know.
Zion Williamson for Jeremy Grant. Who says no?
I do.
Sorry, Trey season was last segment. We're on JJ versus Jamón.
We're off JJ versus Jamón. We've clearly come to the conclusion that Darvin Ham is a better coach than JJ.
I will not be trifled with.
Oh, man.
Sorry, Pod Mamba.
Well, okay, seriously though, in all seriousness, let's end the Lakers segment right here as he runs away. What do they need to do? Trade LeBron? What do they need to do?
Tank and draft all over again.
Yeah, they're locked in. Seriously, we've said this before. They're locked into this predicament until LeBron retires.
Yeah, I think the conversation needs to be, LeBron, what is it you realistically want? You got to play with Ronnie. The hype is gone now. Now it's time for business. What realistically do we need to be doing? And yeah, it's coming to that point of the season where if you don't make a move in terms of the trade season, yeah, you're gonna be looking. You might as well be looking to tank. And if you're not looking to tank, you're again in purgatory, and then they're gonna have to worry about what you can do in off season to try to get in better trade, in trade position. And trade where you could do to get in better draft position, and then hope that you can get yourself a good prospect from that way. But still, if you're still with the same bones, you're still with the same foundation of a team, this is just not a winning formula. So, and like you said, Hans, what are the biggest thing is? Got to move on from LeBron at some point.
I've said this before on the pod, and I'm gonna keep saying it. The problem, it's hard for the Lakers to even make a move because of the contracts they have. All these players that they're connected with make way more than whatever Laker pieces they have to give away. So we always keep on using D'Lo as an example. We use Gabe Vincent as an example as a piece to trade away. They're not going to do it, but even AR is making $13 million a year. Like, he's not making anything. You got other role players and other teams that are making $21 million. You have to match contracts. So Lakers can't bring in more money. So it's such a tough spot for them and Rob to make deals that make sense when the Lakers did right and paid their players what they're actually supposed to be making, unlike these other players who are making $30 million a year for averaging 12 points a game.
Hey, man, trade LeBron to the Knicks. Why not?
I think that view
big perk. Get to it.
Can we have Josh Hart? I want Josh Hart. I want Mikal Bridges.
You want Cat?
No.
We'll leave him Cat. We'll leave him the big purr.
This is what's funny. This is your take is through rose-colored glasses. Your problem is that Rob Pelinka. I'll go with that. Rob Pelinka is a horrible GM.
Oh, the GM that won the championship? Was your GM done?
Hey, that's cool. Your GM is still a horrible GM.
Okay. One that has that championship under his belt. Got it.
The names that you named, and what did he do? He proceeded to tear down that championship team with a litany of nowhere trades that has got into this position to where, we would take Josh Hart back. You had Josh Hart. We're rumored to be Kyle Kuzma. You had Kyle Kuzma. Man, last year, man, we really want what's my boy?
I'm sorry. If the Knicks had Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart.
Let's talk about the Knicks, so we don't have to talk about the Knicks.
If the Knicks had Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and Lonzo Ball, would they not trade for Anthony Davis if they had the chance?
Listen.
Why are we talking? Why are we Why are we talking about this? Like you guys wouldn't have done the same thing.
Players saying, "Oh, we've got contracts because we did right to our players. Now we can't trade them for people." No, you can't trade them because nobody wants your players.
No, we can't trade them because there's
contracts, but the names on those contracts nobody wants.
The Lakers can't trade them because we can't match we can't match salary without giving up more than what we should.
Because what you could give up, nobody
more than
wants.
We should. If the Warriors could give away DeAnthony fucking Melton with 3 second-round picks for Dennis Schroeder, but
who was on your team 2 years ago, but you didn't keep again.
He left. Going. He didn't. Oh, hold on. Did the Lakers not offer him $18 million a year and he turned it down?
Was that his value?
Yes, back then. Yes, it was.
Here we go.
$18 million a year in 2021.
So he didn't want to come back. So
did he not turn that offer down and leave?
Because it wasn't his value. Put your money.
Okay,
you're talking about you're known for paying players. Pay him.
It wasn't his value, Hans. What did he make that following year?
Pay him. That's what I'm saying.
What did he make that following year? He turned that contract down. What did he make that following year? He made the vet min.
Minimum. Yeah, they made the minimum.
Yeah, he did.
So what are we talking about?
That means there's something institutionally wrong with your organization that he didn't even want to stay.
No, he thought he was owed more and he wasn't.
What's he make now? Anybody know?
I have no clue. What did Toronto give him?
I'd have to go back and look. I didn't mean to get this spicy about the Lakers, but
but realistically, look, at this point, man, Christian, what realistically do the Lakers do now? Because you're in purgatory.
I think they want to be in purgatory.
Hope for the best.
I think LeBron sells tickets. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think LeBron sells tickets, and as long as he wants to be there selling tickets for the Lakers, that's where y'all are going to be.
The Lakers need to put on a brave face and hope for the best.
Wow.
If y'all hit a Hail Mary with a trade, it can change the trajectory. If LeBron becomes the third best player on y'all's team,
I think the Lakers need they just need a real center on their squad, and Jackson Hayes is not that. Christian Wood, who knows when he's coming back. I mean, I think Christian Wood would help a lot with rebounding and 3-point, a 3-point spacer for AD as another big, but he's never on the floor. You guys know how I feel about D'Lo. I think D'Lo would do well on this team if he actually had the chance to run the offense, because the metrics show that he does well and the Lakers do well when he runs the offense. But, they want to keep on thinking AR is his point guard, that he's not. They keep on wanting to give LeBron the ball so he could dribble out the clock and just do fadeaway threes. How do the Lakers look exponentially better with Vando on the floor, but Vando's never on the floor. So it's just a tough spot, because unless we go and get someone like Dorian Finney-Smith, who's making $14 million a year, you have to add multiple people to that pick, and then is that even worth it?
I'm sorry, but I feel like, Christian, some of these points are eerily similar to what you said when you had Ham.
I mean, it's still the same squad.
I'm just saying. So under your tutelage, you're expert here. You're the Laker expert here. Is JJ any different from Ham?
Yes. As an X's and O's coach, I exponentially love JJ more than whatever the fuck Darvin Ham was giving us, which was go hard on them dudes, salute every timeout break that we had. I would take JJ drawing up plays than Darvin Ham telling us to salute the other team. So,
okay, but it sounds like the common denominator is not the coach; it's just the construct of the team.
Essentially.
Okay, then.
I think it's how the players are used, and I don't think they're being used the correct way. But
so you don't think they're being used? They were two coaches. Neither of them are being used the correct way.
I think it's human nature for coaches to have favorites and overplay their favorites to the detriment to the team. And I've seen it with
that pattern in JJ.
I've seen the pattern in JJ with Gabe Vincent, and I need Gabe Vincent off my squad.
He was off last year.
Tomorrow.
How did he get there?
Yeah, he was off last year, man. He ain't played last year.
And that's why we were doing so well.
So Gabe Vincent's
under
the problem.
Darvin Ham.
Heard.
It took Darvin Ham until January to figure out that his best squad was the same lineup that went to the Western Conference Finals. Wow. And JJ's not even playing that squad. So, I mean.
Wow.
So he went to the Western Conference Finals. Never mind.
Y'all can't win for losing, man. But yeah, it's like you said, man. I gotta hold on, man. Ride this train out, man. Ride this train out. Ride this train out.
Enjoy that catch 22.
Yeah. To answer your question, Ev, which was stated 17,000 years ago, no, I would not trade Jeremy Grant for Zion Williams. Okay, Zion Williams hasn't played since October of 2011, so I'm not doing it. You're asking me to trade for a player who doesn't play. Like, just saying.
Oh, man.
Anywho, all right, guys. The NBA Cup has come to an end, and the winner is the Milwaukee Bucks. They have won the Garry. They are 2024-25 NBA Cup champions. They defeated Lou's Young Guns of OKC Thunder. Actually, I thought this game would be a lot closer. And if the blowout happened, I thought it'd be on the other side. So I am surprised at how this game turned out. I'll start with you, Lou. What, in your eyes, happened to OKC? Because I know you had them as the favorite winning this.
Yeah. I mean, quite simply, ball didn't go in the net. Ball didn't go in the net, man. So, it's... as a great of a defensive team as they are, having the highest defensive rating in the league, being able to, and they even were able to have more points in the paint than Milwaukee, which says a lot. But what it came down to is, their 3-point shooting was non-existent. They made 5 3-pointers all game. I think they were 5 for 32 or something like that, as opposed to Milwaukee being 17 for 40. Dame did his thing. Dame went off. AJ Green, Pat Connaughton. They had everybody who needed to contributed, as well as OKC played defensively, as well as Hartenstein showed up for them. Another thing that OKC, unfortunately, and we discussed this before, especially not having Chet in, is going against a Milwaukee team that has size. What do you do against somebody like Giannis? Yeah, you have a great defender in Jalen, somebody who give you something with Hartenstein, but when you're dealing with the size of Giannis and then also with Brook Lopez, somebody who also stretches on the floor, it makes it difficult for you. Lou Dort, who's supposed to be one of your who's shot much better this season. I think he's up to 39% from three.
39%, yeah.
Yeah, so he's not capitalizing from three. Shea Gilly can only do but so much. I believe he finished out as the high scorer for them. But yeah, man, it just came down to one. Yeah, size would be an issue, but we know that OKC they're a great defensive team, and they're able to be able to make up for the size and being able to score on second chances and off turnovers as being, I think, one of the top teams, number 1 in steals this season. But yeah, it just came down to ball didn't go in the net. So the game got away from them, especially as you got down the stretch, and having the veteran presence of Giannis and Dame, Brook Lopez, and realistically the entire Bucks team that has championship pedigree. Can't make your shots down the stretch, especially moving into a half court type of offense. You're generally dead in the water. But great showing up by OKC, making it this far. Let's see them make a push for getting to the big chip, getting to the Larry at the end of the season.
Your thoughts on it, Ev? Does this change the narrative about the Bucks? They were struggling earlier in the season. We had them there with the Philadelphia 76ers, who are still struggling. And just asking,
and aren't getting any better.
Asking what's going on. Have the Bucks figured it out?
Watching them play, Giannis having a tremendous season statistically, maybe the best season of his career. Dame putting together consistent efforts, looking better than he did last year, especially from the start of the season. So when you have those two playing well as they've been playing, that's a good starting point. What I think has improved for this team over the past month is the action that takes place off of those two and being more decisive off of those two beyond just a two-man game. So when Giannis brings the ball down, they have quick actions with both trailers and wing players, players in the corner to spot up for threes. When Dame brings the ball down, whether it's the two-man game with Giannis or the same two-man game that rolls in the wing action on both ends, they seem much more decisive on their offense outside of just those two. And they are playing better collectively defensively, despite their lack of individual defensive ability. So you do see a team that is picking up on their concepts better, which has allowed them to seem more successful. They had a stretch there in late November, early December where they played a bunch of cupcake teams. And I wasn't ready to give them credit for those wins during that stretch, but they definitely used that stretch to build confidence in their schemes and their cohesiveness after some rocky outputs and some visible frustrations. So I'll give Milwaukee credit from that standpoint, especially like you said, when juxtaposed against, did I use that correctly, Hans? Let me know. When compared to the
awesome.
thank you, to the Philadelphia 76ers, who, like we just said, same rocky start, but has not been able to figure it out off of that rocky start. Milwaukee being able to look and see, listen, this is a marathon, not a sprint. I commend them for not only riding the ship, but taking advantage of this opportunity with some heightened stakes to put some validity to the turnaround and success they've had thus far.
Yeah, I want to tip my hat to Giannis for showing true leadership when it comes to his team. And when it came down to the questions around their success, what their organization could do, him willing his team back into momentum, and then everybody else following suit. So big kudos to him, of course. And it was a classic, as we talked about before, right there. The Garry opportunity either for a team that has that's a young team with aspirations or older team on its way out. And I think currently, OKC is one of the fourth youngest teams, and I think Milwaukee's similar in ranking on the older side. So it was good to see both teams really show what the best of both sides of what the NBA has to offer.
I'll say this: I am impressed with both teams. I'm impressed with OKC for making it this far. I'm impressed with Milwaukee for pushing through. At the end of the day, they not only look rocky in the beginning of the season from an X's and O's standpoint, they look rocky from a chemistry, like personnel standpoint as well too. It looked like everybody worked out in a different state or country in the off season. That's what it looked like, and never really got together until right when the season was about to start. That's essentially what it looked like. So kudos to them for putting in the hard work. I will point out what Lou said. Giannis's leadership has really impressed me. When it got hard, he tried his team. He challenged his team, right? And he not only challenged them publicly, but also showed up on the court and elevated his game as well too. So oftentimes you'll see players challenge your team and in a sense just point the finger and not do anything to kind of back it up. For him to not only challenge the team but step on the court and said, look, I need to do better as well, and I just need to go in at this paint and play like I'm Shaq and get off.
I'm gonna show you better. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, and know where my bread and butter is, and that's basically free throw line down. Stop shooting these threes. He's shooting less threes. He's taking some mid rangers. He's not shying away from the free throw line. Like, he's just going head first in. I'm sorry, y'all, but to me, that's galvanizing for a team. And he's also not shying away, because his assists are up as well too, from sharing the rock. So shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he's gonna win it. I think actually Shea will win the MVP this year. He's looking like he is. His team's number one. They're on a 5-game winning streak, because this game doesn't count as far as records go. So and I think they'll remain at the top of the West. And his numbers are up as well too. But Giannis, I think, should get some consideration for MVP by the way he's playing right now.
Yeah, like Evan said, man, he's having an historic season for himself. So he's definitely going to be in conversation. I think it will be Giannis, Joker, and Shea as we see the three that really kind of end up being the ones for conversation for MVP. And also, I really want to say we really got to credit the reason why the Bucks won. All right. Thanos was not playing, so you know what? It might be a breakout season for the Bucks. Thanos not playing has clearly elevated their game. So let's clap it up for him.
Wow.
I got additional hate, but I'm gonna keep it, and I'm gonna say something else. The game doesn't count, but we saw what we saw, and what I mean by that is, I'm still looking at OKC. I'm still looking at Jalen Williams, and I'm still asking, when the pressure is on the most, what are we going to get from him / what are we going to get from the supporting cast around Shea? Shea couldn't buy a bucket for 2.5 quarters in this game, and the game was begging for somebody else to step up and carry this team.
You said Zach LaVine? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. My bad. My bad.
Something else.
My bad. No, my bad, man. My bad. I thought he said Zach LaVine. I apologize. Go ahead, Evan. I didn't interrupt you.
Just something to carry out for the season, because we ended the season with OKC and Dallas, struggle for Jalen Williams, right? And then the supporting cast. I call this, while it's man-made, I'm not man-made, it's made up stakes. It is the most stakes they've had since that playoff series in Dallas. And we see 5 for 32 from 3, 31 points in the second half. It doesn't matter, but things stay in your mind. We're going to see how they respond to this, not just the second half of the season, but come playoff time. I'll be fascinated.
Facts. So let's see how
OKC. My point counts.
So let's see how OKC bounces back from this. Congratulations again out to the Bucks. Congratulations. Spend that money wisely. Invest it. Don't just throw it out in Vegas. Invest it. Guys, thank you so much.
APs for everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Don't forget to hit us up on our social medias. Check us out, YouTube, Instagram. Thank you. We appreciate it. See you guys next week. Peace.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, give us a thumbs up. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you can keep up with us every week. Be sure to follow us on all our socials at the 3on3 Podcast. Hey, got a question, topic you want us to talk about? Hit us up on our email at 3on3podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate y'all. Tune in next week.